The squirrel was called Bramblewick, though only the old trees remembered why. To everyone else in Most Whisper Forest, he was simply the talking squirrel, the one who muttered riddles, argued with owls, and somehow always knew when something had gone wrong. Bramblewick lived in a hollowed oak near the river bend, where he kept his greatest treasure, a cache of forgotten enchanted acorns. They were dull and cracked on the outside, easily mistaken for ordinary nuts, but each one carried a remnant of old forest magic. Long ago, before paths and fences and woodcutters, the forest druids had planted those acorns to protect Most Whisper. Over time, they were lost, buried, or dismissed as legend. But Bramblewick, he remembered them all. On the morning the mushrooms stopped glowing, the entire forest grew uneasy. The nightcap rings, which normally shone a vibrant blue at dawn, were now just gray and lifeless. Creatures whispered of bad omens and strange feelings in the air. Bramblewick twitched his tail, a sure sign he was thinking. He climbed down from his oak and pressed a small paw to the soil. Magic doesn't just vanish, he said aloud, to no one in particular. It gets misplaced. He scampered back to his hidden stash and selected an acorn etched with a spiral rune. Cracking it open released a faint, musical hum, like a memory trying to speak. Bramblewick held it close to his ear and followed the sound through dense ferns and tangled roots until it led him to a fallen birch tree. Beneath it, a young badger had been digging tunnels, a bit too deep, and had accidentally disrupted the old ley thread that fed the mushrooms their light. Bramblewick explained this patiently, though the badger just blinked in confusion. So, I broke the forest, the young badger asked, his voice trembling. You borrowed its balance, Bramblewick replied kindly, sprinkling the acorn dust into the soil. As promised, the glow returned by nightfall, and the badger promised to dig his tunnels elsewhere. Word of Bramblewick's talent spread quickly. Soon after, the river began flowing backward at twilight, confusing the fish and soaking the homes of nearby hedgehogs. Bramblewick listened carefully to the water's gurgled complaints and then used a special acorn, one shaped like a tiny crescent moon. This one revealed the cause. A human child had stacked shiny river stones into a spiral, unknowingly mimicking an ancient and powerful summoning sign. Bramblewick waited until dusk, then carefully rearranged the stones with his nimble paws. He left behind a single acorn that sprouted into a harmless, beautiful silver-leaf plant by morning. The forest sighed in collective relief. But the greatest mystery arrived in autumn, when the trees themselves grew silent, the leaves fell without their usual vibrant color, and the wind carried no stories, no whispers from the branches. Even the elders, the ancient beech, and the wise old yew refused to speak. Bramblewick felt a deep fear, for he suspected what this meant. He returned to his oak and stared at the last enchanted acorn. This one was blackened and heavier than all the rest. It was the heart seed, planted once at the forest's very center to bind all its magic together. Forgotten for so long, it had finally gone dormant. A squirrel, even a talking one, should not try to wake such immense power. But Bramblewick had always been more than he seemed. He carried the heart seed to the oldest clearing in the woods, a place where roots intertwined like clasped hands. He buried it deep in the earth. Then, he told the forest everything he remembered, the stories of the druids, the ancient songs, the promises made long ago to protect every leaf and claw. His voice shook, but he spoke with all his heart until the sun began to rise. As the first rays of dawn broke through the canopy, color exploded across the forest. The leaves blazed in brilliant gold and crimson. The wind whispered again, carrying tales of renewal. From that day on, the creatures of Most Whisper Forest no longer called Bramblewick merely a talking squirrel. They called him the keeper of acorns, the solver of mysteries, and the quiet guardian of forgotten magic. And Bramblewick, for his part, simply went back to gathering nuts, arguing with owls, and listening because forests, just like stories, always leave clues for those who remember how to listen. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from magical places. See you next time.